So I got involved at the age of 8. My mum was my PE teacher at school. I was never really into sports. It was always something I struggled with. But it was one of our PE lessons. We had to do the bleep test, the multi-stage fitness test. And I ended up surpassing everyone, all my classmates, and that was kind of the first time I felt like I had achieved something. So from there, my mum and my dad started taking me out for runs, and I joined the local running club. And I really managed to stick with my peers and compete able-bodied. And my mum kind of found out a bit about disability sport from looking online and just trying to find me some opportunities. So I've really kind of been heavily involved in kind of disability sport, para-athletics, probably from the age of 11. So nearly 10 years. At 11 and 12, when I'd been nationally classified, I was running times that would have equalled the world record at that period of time. It was quite a few years of just running at home and imagining what could be. At the age of 14, I was then eligible to compete internationally, and I won my first gold medals for GB at the Europeans in the 100 and 200 and broke my first world record then. From there, I've won medals at every championships I've gone to. I'm 22 now, so it's been a long period, but along with that, there's been challenges with mental health and just kind of, being a young person with a disability. So kind of managing that, being a performance athlete and kind of schoolwork and stuff, it's been a challenge, but it's given me lots of different opportunities, and I'm very grateful almost to have a disability. I have worked with strength and conditioning coaches throughout my career. Currently I'm getting access to physio support. I've had an injury, I've had surgery, so I'm kind of just in the process of recovery. It's been really beneficial, accessing that. First of all, it was weekly, to now we're starting to make a bit of progress. We're not seeing that as much. To have their knowledge and support and what to do next, get to the next stage. I was on crutches, to then get into walking without crutches, jogging, and then now I'm at the point I'm able to sprint and wear my sprint spikes. So it's been quite a few months, and I don't think I'd have really made that progress without that support from the physio at the Institute.
So Maria, as a para-athlete in athletics, accesses the Institute of Sport mainly as a supported athlete from world-class programmes with British Athletics. Being based up in Scotland in the east, we access physio support as well as S&C support from testing, and quite often we'll get access through medical and nutrition on a referral basis as well. Maria's just recently gone through a major operation, and probably the Institute support has really been essential there, from accessing the support, looking at the medical review, but then also the physio being really involved, and the S&C also really involved from that return to training process as well. So we access, or Maria accesses, support on a regular basis there, and kind of links up with personal coach and also with Scottish Athletics and British Athletics as well.
It does require a lot of communication with not only the people within the Institute, but also myself and my coach. I guess it's a bit more complex than maybe working with your able-bodied athlete, with learning about the impairment. But I guess although you may have two people with the same impairment, it affects everyone differently. So I think it's really important to have that open line of communication, especially with the athlete, to kind of see how things work and how that would affect them. So yeah, I've been really lucky that we've all communicated really well, and we've been able to make progress and stuff.
I think one of the huge benefits of accessing support through Institute of Sport is that I have a range of practitioners that have a wealth of knowledge and experience from across different sports. Some of that includes para sports or different sports, so having come to a situation within para sport and thinking creatively, I think practitioners have that range of experiences that will allow them to really think creatively. And we've certainly seen that from the support that we've accessed.
So I have used the lifestyle practitioner with stuff like in terms of uni. I think recently actually, when I was recovering from operations and stuff, they've been really good at getting in contact with my lecturers and making sure there's allowances to allow me to recover, but then also like keep up with the work. So that's been really good. And it's normally like James, I'll go through my coach or my physio has been quite good at like giving me like contacts of people as well. I think definitely the physio stuff. I think especially the past like 6-7 months of coming from not really being able to walk at all from my surgery to now being able to sprint, and I'm looking to compete in the next couple of weeks. So I think to have had that support and done quite a quick turnaround with quite a serious injury, that's been really good, and I don't think I would have had the progress I would have had if I didn't have their support. I think I would, something that I would maybe like a bit more from the Institute would probably be a bit more soft tissue, especially with like having a neurological condition. That would be really beneficial. Soft tissue is really expensive and a lot of athletes can't afford that, I know myself included. So I think it would be quite good to get that access. It's really good having the physio, but sometimes you just need somebody to kind of see, like, look at your body and see maybe things that are tight and maybe things that maybe aren't in alignment. So I think that would be one thing I would quite like to get, and I think would be useful to myself and maybe others.
One of the services we probably access the most, being based in Scotland, is probably physio. You know, from a CP perspective, it's really important that actually we keep on top of, I guess, maintenance and avoiding injuries, because it is a complex impairment and can have different effects in different ways. As well as, you know, sort of post-surgery, that's become an essential service. But even before that, you know, ticking into looking at actually ways that we can, I guess, just improve movement and thinking outside the box of how we can make different gains in different areas. And so physio has been a really key link for us in doing that.
So mental health became a bit of an issue for me probably from the age of 13. It was more just kind of how I saw myself. Being from a small town, I was the only person I knew with a physical disability, so I always kind of felt a little bit of an outsider and different to everyone. And I kind of used my running to kind of, you know, hide away from my peers, because I was always so worried about what people felt about me. I never kind of dealt with that issue or realised there was something not quite right. Kind of all came to a head when I was about 18. I wasn't having a very good season then, and I just kind of, I'd finished a race, didn't do very well, and just kind of broke down in the car in front of my mum. And I was just really unhappy, and just, I wasn't quite sure what was wrong. I got diagnosed with having anxiety and a bit of depression, and I had to start taking medication for that. We'd been preparing all that season for the European Champs, which at that point, it was only like a month away. And it was kind of, we had to then make the decision as to, do we go to these Europeans or do we just, call it a day for that season? And I kind of, I'll go and run. I managed to win a gold medal. It wasn't a great time, but I was quite open and honest with people after my race, with my coach and with like my teammates as to what had been going on and how I'd been feeling. And I got a bit of attention from that, and my kind of reasoning for doing that was, if I'd heard about somebody had maybe said how they felt, maybe I'd have gone and sought some help beforehand. So it's been a kind of a long journey, coming to that realisation something's maybe not quite right, to doing something about it. So not only was I taking medication, I was going to see professional help, which I was really fortunate to get access to. It's probably been 3 or 4 years of kind of working really hard at getting to the point of, you know, being comfortable being around other people, my peers, and saying that there's actually nothing wrong with me as a person, and, you know, kind of accepting the fact, yes, I do have a disability, but most people are not bothered about that. Like, that's probably not the first thing that they think about.
If the topic of mental health, you know, comes up, whether someone's having an episode of poor mental health or just having general struggles or something a little bit more serious, I think it's really important to refer to other services, have the conversations, whether that's with sports psychology, one of the doctors, or even performance lifestyle, and have those open conversations and really encourage them to access help from those services as well.
I think advice to somebody who maybe isn't used to working with someone with an impairment is really kind of just asking the athlete. Like, I know it can be a bit uncomfortable asking what's wrong with you, but actually you won't know until you ask, and most people are quite happy to kind of say, because at the end of the day they want to get the best out of the services and really get the benefit of it. So I think most people would be happy saying, like, this is my disability, this is how it affects me. And then once everyone knows that, then we can then create a programme that works around them.
Working with a para-athlete, I think I would really encourage everyone to work with para-athletes regardless of the sport. I think it makes you a better coach, it makes you more creative, it helps you really understand what's important in sport, or if you're a practitioner, really understanding whether that's from an S&C perspective or from a physio perspective or any other discipline. It really helps you distill and really try and make sense of what's important for the discipline or for the sport. You come at it almost the same way as you would any other coaching situation. You know, you look at the individual, you look at what they need from a training perspective, from a physical preparation perspective, and all the other elements, you know, you put together is you base it on the individual. Now, yes, there's going to be some other challenges that, you know, someone's impairment might mean that you have to take a different approach, but I think that's then where working with parasport makes you a better coach, because you come up with solutions, you think about other ways to come about it, or you then think, oh, actually, is it really important that we do that exercise or that movement, or how do we get the same progression or the same stimulus, but coming up with it from a different perspective. So I really would encourage anyone, even if they have a small opportunity to shadow or to work with a para sport, to really do it, because it will make you a better coach and a better practitioner.
So I've managed to experience all these different things, and I've been really lucky to have this as a career and being able to do this for a job and do what I love. I love training and stuff, so getting that opportunity to do that it has kind of made me realise that maybe I experience some negative stuff to do with mental health as well. However, on the whole, it's been a really good thing. I think over the 11 years, the biggest thing I've probably learned is to try and have balance and I think as an athlete, especially like the performance end, I think it's very much kind of expected or pushed that it's a full-time thing, and that's all you should be doing, and it doesn't create a healthy balance. So I think, yeah, like making sure that you're not shutting off other doors just to kind of focus on your sport. Sport's not forever, unfortunately. We can't do it as a long-lasting career, so we've got to make sure that we've kind of preparing ourselves for life outside of sport. And even when you're still an athlete, once you've come home from training, what is there to look forward to? What are you going to do with your time? Because training's only a small part of your day.